Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on what region of the world you live in. This is your captain speaking, Lou. Today we're going to be flying an Airbus A320 Neo from JFK International Airport up to the New York City skyline. Firstly, let's go ahead and show you the graphics settings real quickly. So we are running an Asus Strix RTX 4090 graphics card, and we're running a render resolution of 3840 by 2160 on my 4K 144Hz display. We are running TAA formatted anti-aliasing, 100% resolution scaling, DirectX 12 mode. All the advanced graphics settings are all ultra preset with 120% terrain level of detail, 120% object level of detail. And all these settings here are fully maxed out, highest possible setting, with a glass cockpit refresh rate set to high. So like I said, we're going to be taking off in this Airbus A320 Neo from JFK International Airport, and we're going to be flying towards the New York City skyline. And then once we get to that area, we will initiate a few different resolutions. Of course, right now we're at 4K native, but we will try 1440p. And 1080p as well to test CPU bound load situations on my Ryzen 9 7950X 3D CPU. Now, Flight Simulator for a long time has been a very heavy title when it comes to CPU utilization, and it's always had an issue with high-end GPUs where it would basically not use the full resources of the graphics card because it uses so much CPU overhead for the rendering and simulation and the world and everything else, physics. So as you can see, the utilization of my 4090 is only like 60%, and it'll vary from 60 to 70 to down to like the 50s, so that is normal. I did also see that my i9 1400K STP, which I had prior, so that is pretty much typical. And as for the temperatures, as you can see, this is one game where you're actually going to see 70C even with the Ryzen CPU only utilizing up to 60 or 73 watts. So as you can tell, it's very heavy CPU bound game. And once we get towards the city, we will fly around, do a little lap towards New York and Central Park, and then we'll initiate 1440p as well as 1080p to also test the CPU bound load, as I mentioned. But for now, we will fly over there. I'll be quiet for now, and you guys enjoy the flight. Make sure your seat tables are in their upright position. Make sure your seatbelt is buckled, and we will have this wonderful tour of New York City skyline. Enjoy, guys. And as you can see, as we get closer to the city, the frames per second will obviously drop because there's so many renderings of all the buildings, texture files, loading resources from the internet to get the higher quality textures. So it is a lot more intense when you test out New York City because of all the buildings and layouts of all the water and bridges, traffic on the road. So it is a very good area that Flight Simulator fans like to benchmark this game in, because it is so in fact heavy on all the resources available to anybody's computer running this game. So like I said, we'll fly over Central Park, and then we will make another lap around the skyline, and then we'll initiate 1440p followed by 1080p to test out all the CPU bound resolutions, as well as 4K, which is what we're testing now. Now, what I like to do is fly low towards Central Park because of all the trees. I don't know if this game uses tessellation or not, but there's a lot of like trees to render, as well as you know, the grass, the water, little ponds or lakes, whatever these are, the baseball field. There's a lot to render, and this all these trees and stuff is really heavy on the CPU resources, so it really does kind of stress out the GPU and CPU with all the rendering and physics. So I always like to fly over Central Park there to kind of really test out a hard load on the CPU and GPU. So we'll get turned around here, as I already mentioned, and then we'll initiate 1440p with the same exact graphics settings we're using now. One little big frame stutter there. Now, I did recently install the game, so that's one thing you got to keep in mind is it could be caching some new files, because I haven't played this since I no longer own the i9 CPU, so I had to do a new reinstall of my AMD setup. So that big frame stutter, that's probably because it's caching the files of New York City. So just keep that in mind, that this is a new install, so it may perform a little bit less because of that reason. Okay, let's go ahead and initiate 1440p, which I already mentioned we were going to do. So we'll go ahead and lower the resolution to 2560 by 1440p. Click apply, keep changes. Then you gotta click apply and save again, not sure why, but it always asks you to do that, so I did it ahead of time. And now we're gonna be more of a CPU bound resolution, and we'll probably see those CPU temperatures may even go above 70 now, so we'll see. Now on my 4K display, I noticed a significant drop in visual fidelity, like everything looks a lot more blurry. I don't know if you guys can see that on your screen, but whenever I drop resolutions from 4K on my screen, it just looks suddenly so much less detailed and fuzzy-wuzzy. Like the buildings and stuff just doesn't look the same. But it runs a lot better, obviously. It definitely feels smoother when I'm banking here. And obviously you can tell that the GPU is now at the low 50s in terms of GPU utilization because of the resolution. So we're really stressing the CPU hardware, I think, with this lower resolution. So we'll fly over Central Park, same kind of altitude, nice and low, low and slow, and we will see how everything runs. But yeah, see all those trees, all that, the leaves, there's a lot to render. It's always been a really tough area of this game. I remember when my flight simulator didn't have frame generation, it was always like a huge stutter fest when you flew over Central Park there, so it's always been a really heavy struggle to render that area of New York. Got that same stutter again there. See, this is a new area that I haven't flown in, so maybe that's why I get that frame stutter. Not sure. But that's the thing of Flight Simulator 2020, it's very variable because between the GPU and CPU utilization, it's a very variable in terms of what it's using more of because of the way the engine of this title works. It'll be interesting to see when Flight Simulator 2024 comes out if they do some better optimization, whereas it will use more GPU resources instead of relying so much on the CPU, but we'll see. Okay, so now let's go ahead and initiate 1080p, which is going to be a very extraordinarily more CPU bound resolution. Click apply, keep changes, and then you gotta click save and apply again because that's just the way this game is. And then again on my 4K display, this 1080p, it looks like literally I'm playing on a PlayStation 3 title now because it's really, really fuzzy.
1,000.
But I could definitely feel the smoothness of the lower frame timing response time here. You can just tell the way the plane's flying. You can tell it's just a lot more smoother at those 1440p and 1080p resolutions compared to 4K, which is more hard on the resources available. I should have probably shown more of the cockpit when I was in 4K. I know I didn't really use it that much, but because a lot of flight simulator fans like when you use the cockpit because it's also very heavy because of the rendering of all the interior components and gauges and the glass screen and all that stuff. So it's very also heavy to test and worthy to test if you're a flight sim fan. Okay, we'll do another nice low fly through of Central Park here. And then just for fun, since we did show a little bit more cockpit view in those lower resolutions, we'll go back to 4K just briefly and just show a little bit more cockpit interior view. So let me get turned around here. Just so it's a fair comparison, and it shows every resolution with an equal amount of cockpit screen time. Trying to see where I'm at right now. Okay, and just so we're in order here, since we're at 1080p, let's go ahead and just go to 1440p really quickly again, just so I have a little bit more cockpit view of 1440p. So let's do 2560 by 1440, apply, save, and I'll just kind of keep it in this middle area here with the interior cockpit view. Just so this is a fair comparison of all three resolutions with everything is kind of balance in terms of what's being shown for each resolution. So we'll just maintain this cockpit view. We will turn the camera.
Squawk 1200. Frequency change approved Airbus 320.
Another little frame splitter there.
New York approach Airbus Alpha Sierra X-Ray 320 is type Airbus A320 and 1 miles north of 6 November 7 1,100 feet. Request clearance to transition Bravo airspace.
Okay, so now let's go ahead and initiate 4K, and then we will wrap up this video here for Flight Simulator 2020. Oops, right, see here, I forgot to click save, and it will warn you there, so I forgot to do it.
Squawk 6273 Airbus 320.
Now, if I was really flying this plane, I would not be flying like this, but given that this is just a game simulation, I'm just trying to make an extreme turn here, that way we can get back on track of where all the buildings are. And at the same time, I don't want to fly too low and be too close to the buildings here. Sometimes it's hard to tell how close you are to the ground when you're in a cockpit view. Of course, you got to use your instruments. But
Airbus Alpha Sierra X-Ray 320, 2,900 feet.
2,500.
And those call-outs also very helpful too, which also does really happen in an airliner. When you're decreasing altitude, it will literally call out 500, 400, 300. That's all actually realistic of airliners. They really do, in fact, have those computers talking to you about your altitude. It's a warning though, like for when you're landing, I'm assuming, to help you understand when you're landing. I'm not a pilot, but I always wanted to be a pilot, so I always was in the airplanes as a child. It's my always had a fascination with aviation for most of my life, actually. Okay, so that pretty much shows all four resolutions, all three resolutions with a mixed
1,000.
amount of cockpit view as well as external wing views. But as always, if you guys did appreciate the video, do give this video a like. Happy Friday to everybody. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I just recently got off work. I figured I'd record another video. And for those of you who are subscribed, just do know that I will be recording videos each and every day. I try to do them early in the morning when I get off work. I am a night shift worker, and then I will continue to do so throughout the weekend, and we'll take things from there. But I appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the wonderful support from all my recent videos. I do have a nice, good following, and I do appreciate everybody's comments, feedback, as well as suggestions when I had my issues with my i9 CPU. But until then, thank you for watching. Appreciate all the support. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you guys again tomorrow if you guys want to stay tuned for more videos soon enough. Peace out. Thanks for watching, and see you guys around.